Welcome. You are at the CCC.
Where there are no outside issues. My name's Anthony. I'm an addict and an alcoholic, another bozo on the bus, and I care about.
Yes, and I'm LouiLou. My pronouns are he and him, and I'm recovering for crystal meth and alcohol, and I am always in search of balance. Yes, and each week we strive to foster a brave space we can engage in conversations centered around topics of recovery.
And our intention is to hold and inspire better spaces for more people in recovery by tackling issues sometimes used to separate us.
Yes, but before we do that, please like, share, and comment on this episode. Rate us.
Yeah, rate us, comment, like, subscribe.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding, ding. Hit that bell. Every week it feels like the intro music is like a little bit longer.
This is like the extended version.
And now the disclaimer: the thoughts and opinions expressed on at the CCC are ours alone. We do not represent anyone ourselves. The information shared here is for general information purposes only. In other words, we're just a couple of friends behind a mic here to entertain you.
Absolutely. I love that. I think a couple of weeks ago, it's like, I'm gonna wait till the music's done. I was like, he sounded all gangster. I'm gonna wait till the music's done.
I see.
How are you doing?
I'm fine.
You are fine?
I'm good. I'm very good. So I have a new interest.
Oh, okay.
Do you want?
Yeah.
Okay, so recently, you know how like when you're on YouTube, like you'll get like clips or whatever. So I like stumbled upon like chess grandmasters, and I've been like following chess grandmasters. I'm not even a fan of chess, but it's like this whole world. And did you know? And then I'll stop. But did you know that in chess they have women have like a separate ranking system?
Whoa.
Because you have grandmasters, and then women have like this separate ranking system, which is really odd to me because it's not like it's sports.
It's kind of sexist, maybe.
It feels sexist.
Yeah.
Like the reason why we have separate things like for basketball is because men and women play differently. They're like have different muscular builds, etc. Isn't that interesting?
When you're dealing with your mind, it's like that's crazy.
Yeah. So I don't know what to do with that.
Well, I'm excited for you because we're actually as he put the like I was listening on the last on that podcast. He's like, I'm excited that's something that you were excited about.
Did you say that to me?
No, that's what you said to me. It's like I was really excited and happy to share, and I was shut down. I'm all.
What were you excited about? What were you excited about?
I was excited about Janet Jackson.
Oh,
I went to see the conference and at the concert, and he was.
Well, as your friend, you were on
a roll. That's what it is. You were on a roll.
No. As your friend, I like when you have things in your life that like give you energy.
Okay. And it was feeding my soul. It was feeding my soul, but you know how when somebody says something, you're scratching your head. Was that an
insult?
Did he just come for me?
Yeah.
So
how are you? Yeah.
I'm really good. Actually, it's been a good week. Relationship with sponsees are really good. Met with my sponsor yesterday. Like it's we all experience this. It's like it's a time where everything's going smoothly, and I'm embracing it now because it's probably not going to last.
You really need the producer to come and put it on.
He just can't. He came around here, turned like, oh man, you know what? Okay, I got it. I'm good.
Okay, so you're.
I am so.
How
good.
long have we been doing this, and like you don't know how to use your mic?
Oh, no. Okay. Hi.
So we have a guest here today. Her name is Leslie. She's a good friend of both of ours.
Absolutely, we love Leslie.
We do. Leslie's like a big sister to me.
Yeah,
I am your big sister.
She is
100%.
100%.
I guess Leslie's a little sister to me then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
But yeah.
Why is she a little sister to you?
I don't know. I don't know. It's like
I feel like if like there was an age thing, it's almost like we're the same age, even though we're not. But like in that brother-sister relationship.
Yeah,
thing.
absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, Nora.
I don't know what to make of that. Hi, Nora. How's everyone like feeling right now? How are you guys feeling right now?
Well,
I'm feeling nervous.
Are you? You should speak a little closer, Mike. You're feeling,
or Steven's gonna come and fix it for you.
But I like Steven, so that would be fun.
You're feeling nervous?
I am.
Is it because you're in front of camera and people are listening to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's exactly why.
Yeah.
Louis, how are you feeling right now?
I feel fine. I feel good.
Fine isn't a feeling.
No.
though.
Okay, I feel.
Yeah, use a feeling word.
Is feeling word.
Angry,
I
sad.
can give you a poster.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I'm feeling comfortable. I'm feeling
Comfortable.
comfort. Because you guys are home.
Oh,
I love you. Yeah,
that's so
yeah.
sweet.
Yeah. Mhm.
Feel like home.
Yeah.
But it depends where you live.
I live in a trap house, so yeah, you guys feel like home.
It feels like home. I love that.
Yes.
I love that.
I've never been to your home, but I feel like you would have a really good home. Really.
You feel like you would have a really good home. You ever look at someone and you're like, I wonder what you live in? You ever think that?
No, like Louis would have like just the shit would be put together,
You think so?
decorated well. Yes, I do.
Well, okay, so
Virgo.
Honestly,
I'm a Virgo.
it's like-
My place is a mess right now.
yeah, my place is a mess now. But it's not. I always say it's kind of gay messy. It's not messy.
No, my shit is
But
messy.
I also, it's not decorated. It's not decorated because
Okay.
I've got some,
Assumptions.
no. I've got pictures leaning up against the wall of things that I'm thinking about putting up.
You're a hoarder.
No, I'm not a hoarder. No, I'm a minimalist. It's like no, I'm not. I've been trying to figure out what I want where because I don't want to put it up. I don't want to put it up
I've had
and then
stuff
have to take it down. I'm not. That's not my thing.
I've had stuff waiting for like years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I was feeling like home.
Great. So today's topic is this is the month on recovery, relationships in recovery. And today is relationships in recovery, subtitle Friends and Family.
Absolutely.
Friends and Family. And we have Leslie on because she has friends and family.
I do.
She has friends and family.
Yeah, what's that like?
Okay, so it's pretty amazing because like I have friends now that I don't know, I think
I'm like, we're on a podcast, girl.
I told you I was nervous. Filling the space for me.
She's like,
I don't know.
Go ahead, it's fine. I'm just giving you a hard time.
For those who don't know, our production team just keeps growing, and so that means now one person has time to do the sound effects, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, we have one person that's paying attention to the podcast. Where before Brandon would go to sleep, yawn, be on his phone, he was over it.
Exactly.
Okay, so friends and family. Do you remember now?
I know what I was saying.
Oh.
I just speak with pauses, but I guess that doesn't work for a
Not
podcast,
on a podcast,
so
no.
I don't know. Yeah, I have it. There's too much pressure to speak. I can't do it.
Oh
I
no!
can't do it.
Really?
Yeah, because I can't pause.
You can pause.
You can pause.
You can pause.
No,
You can pause.
honestly, it's like it's.
We'll just ask people to like meditate during those pauses.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
The pauses won't be that long.
Yeah.
Okay. So like right now, I feel like I have friendship groups that I have always wanted. And yeah, I think No.
I'm just trolling you. You're doing great.
Yeah, it's
You're good.
you are 100% my little brother. This is like my little brother being like pointing his finger in my face.
Yeah.
And like holding it like a millimeter away.
Yeah,
like,
I'm
as
not
close as
touching
I'm
you.
supposed to be in the mic.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. And then I like scream. And then my mom would get mad at me for yelling because I disturbed the peace.
Okay.
Exactly.
That's what we have right now.
It is what we have.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll stop. Go. I'll sit
But
on
yeah, no, I think like recovery has given me like the ability to be my real self and have friends in my life, like a really good core group of friends. That's something that I haven't had before, so.
I love that.
Yeah.
Were you going to say something?
No, I was just agreeing.
Okay. Why are you so defensive
No, I was
right
just
now?
agreeing because I think that the interesting thing, like with regards to recovery, like some of us come in with relationships that are seem irreparable, and it's amazing that doing some work, taking a little time, you get to kind of if you want to, if that's what's necessary, because there's some relationships that are just done, and that we're so toxic to begin with. And I'm talking about family and friends, but it's like we get to kind of like connect with people in a more meaningful way and understand, how we fit into. Like for me specifically, I think I had a role in my family's life before that what I didn't pick. It was just my role. And now I get to show up, like you said earlier, as my authentic self. And that to me I want to be there. I want to be around them. I want to connect with the people that I want to connect with. I don't have to connect with anybody I don't want to connect with.
I love that.
Yeah.
And so what was coming to, now we're getting serious. So what I was thinking of, I was at a meeting recently and someone was talking about, it was at the BIPOC meeting actually.
I love that.
And someone was talking about how they have a friend who established a boundary, and their friend was like, you know what, you can't just get sober and apologize and think that everything's going to change now, which is like, that's very humbling. And the friend said, they didn't throw them away. The friend said, you know what, why don't we talk in a month and let's see if you've actually made any changes, which is really nice. But what that made me think of is like, when I was drinking and using, there are 100% friendships I didn't get back. You know what I mean? I was toxic, and I think they were, they were taking care of themselves by saying to me, like, Anthony, I can't do this. I actually had this very interesting relationship with a sponsor. She and I worked together for a brief amount of time, where I kept showing up late to things. And she tried doing everything. She tried adjusting the time. She tried adjusting like our meeting places. And then at some point she said to me, like, Anthony, what am I supposed to do? I keep establishing boundaries with you and you keep not like honoring them. And I was like, I think this is like maybe when we stop working together, like I'm not able to like show up to this relationship. And it was it was like the healthiest, like, parting. Like, she and I are still friends, but it was like, this is like I was fucking up, and like a person, in order to respect themselves, was establishing a boundary with me. That's tough.
That is tough.
Yeah. Like, but and then the other side of that is like actually I feel like I have real relationships now.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think being able to set clear boundaries, live them, to ask for what you need, even if it's uncomfortable. I mean, it really has kind of made, and you always say this, it's like being alive is
Hard.
But so if being alive is hard, the relationships I have should not be equally tough.
Yeah, because that's the big one. Like with family, we can't, family is family, and we can't really kind of, yes, we can. We're not married to the people who we share DNA with.
Wait, like you can't choose who your biological
Right.
mother and father are, right? Like
that's,
I think that's what you're trying to say.
Yeah, 100%. Like we can't choose who our mother and father are, who our parents. I didn't have a mom, dad. I had a guardian. So like we can't make those choices, and so we can't help who is like influencing us when we're like being raised. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But one of the things that I really love about like queer people, LGBT community, is that we got very good at creating families of choice.
Absolutely. As a necessity.
As a necessity.
Yeah.
As a necessity. I forget where I was going.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, I was
no,
because I want you to talk as much as you want.
Yeah, you do whatever you can.
I am. Go ahead.
So no, one of the things that I talk about a lot with my sponsees, and talk about, like, when they approach and we're talking about difficult relationships, whatever kind they are, ask yourself how important it is to you. Do you value it? Because some relationship, especially early on, well, all the time, an important relationship to me, if I value it, it means that I'm going to do the work. And I've had some relationships, and I've talked about this a lot. One recently, where we had a falling out after we got back from Palm Springs, and the frustration is that I was able to see that all of these friendships I have around me were almost effortless. We weren't zombies. We didn't agree on everything, but it wasn't tough, and we allowed each other to be, and we forgave each other for not being, because that's super important. But I mention this because this friendship, we took a break.
Mhm.
I did some soul searching, and I really felt like it was done. And then something came up after doing some work with my sponsor, and I realized, oh, I can show up a different way and give this person whom I love, uh, a, I can show up a different way,
Yeah.
and I can have the conversation. And relationship's been wonderful since. And it doesn't always happen, but it's been
I love
amazing.
that.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. What you're talking about, it is not something that I would have thought of in those terms, like friendships needing to be effortless like that. I'm like, that no, I don't think I agree. But as I was listening to you and like thinking, I'm like, yeah, no, I get what you're saying. And I
Yeah.
think it's something for me, to like take and reflect on, right? And I think it's just one of those things with all relationships, really, friends, families, anything. Nothing's gonna stay one way, and things can change.
It
Yeah,
shouldn't be draining. That's
Yeah,
what
well,
I meant by
no.
the effortless part.
Yeah, when
Yeah,
well, you're not saying like without conflict.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Okay.
They're definitely
Because
but I should not feel like, how
Or
you
at
have
least like
psychic-
not
you
all
know-
the time.
no,
Or
exactly.
like the
Right,
the
right.
balance, like it should be
And
more
if we
life
do have,
giving than life draining.
there was the situation
Right.
we got over there, and then we had this falling out, and it was ugly. And I'm thinking, you waited till we left the city limits to show your ass in another. That's not my. I was not my jam. It's like I'm all, what are you doing? What are you doing? And that's what I mean. Okay, maybe I need to take a break from you, but I'm going to come back and talk to you about it. And it was a situation where I wasn't reaching out and he wasn't reaching out. And that's not the type of friendships that like I have. We usually like will give ourselves a little break like we do. And then I'll come back and say, hey, this is what went down. I'm sorry or whatever. And I think the reason why I didn't do it is because I felt like, oh, you keep doing this. You keep apologizing and nothing changes.
that resonates with me because I was just in a situation with a friend, and this has happened to me before. I was in a situation with a friend where it's like a newer budding relationship, and they just started dating someone, and on 2 separate occasions they had made plans with me and didn't follow up.
I hate where this is going.
Yeah, so it was like hey, I'll reach out to you at 4:00 and let's hang. Right, 4:00 rolls around, I don't hear from them. That happened a second time, and then there was a third time, which I kind of gave them a pass for because I was like, all right, girl, I see what you're doing here. But in the end, so like when I was drinking and using, I would be like, fuck that bitch, I'm never talking to him again. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm not doing that.
I don't know her.
I don't. But what I did was I was like, I spoke to him and I said, listen, I value our friendship and that shit can't happen. And he's like, had an excuse. I was like, no. You and I both know what's going on here. You started dating someone new. Like, so you're like tossing aside these friendships. Well, maybe not. You chose a guy over a friendship.
Absolutely.
And I remember talking to you because I was upset about it. And you were like, when you made this joke, you're like, well, that relationship better last because I can hold a grudge.
I'm just saying, it's like, because
No,
it's like,
100. Yeah.
if I've made space for you in my life, because that's one of the challenges I have, and you show me through your actions that then I may not make space again.
Yeah, that's right. We have a comment. Let's see that comment. Brandon writes, probably the most challenging thing for me these days is having some of my closest friends relapse and really struggle. I'm supportive as possible, but I have to draw some tough boundaries that really suck sometimes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hard.
It's
Yeah,
tough.
One of the hardest things.
Do y'all have thoughts on that?
Oh, we all do.
Oh, well, let's hear them.
Do you want to?
Thank you, Brandon.
I don't have like fully formed thoughts on it, so
Yeah.
you go first, and then I can chime in.
So I am dealing with that with a friend whom I love, and one of the challenges I have is I want to be a safe space. I want to make it sure, because you know how sometimes folks go out and they feel like people are judging them, and I always say jokingly, but it's the truth. It's okay, whatever. People are judging you. What are you going to do about it? It's like, this is step one. I'm powerless over what people think. But recently, like I was thinking, it's like, you know what? I need to say something. I need to have that conversation and be okay with this person kind of like shutting me out, because I don't want to have any regrets. because especially with the way things are going when people go out, like people go out thinking they're going to come back willy-nilly and they end up in some hotel with people and pass out and die on fentanyl. And I'm like, ugh,
Yeah.
not pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it hurts. It's uncomfortable. But for me and my sanity, those boundaries are necessary.
I think it really just like one of the things that I'm thinking about as you're talking is like, for me, the most important thing in my life is recovery. And like that has to come first. And so it's me first in some ways. But I think it's hard because it's hard to have the friendship and keep recovery be that. I don't know. I losing my thoughts again.
That's okay. They'll come
No, but
back.
yeah.
So what I was thinking of is like there's two things here. So my first thought is one of the things I struggle with is like making allowances, right? So when someone's new to recovery or struggling, we make allowances. We say, this person's going to be a little prickly. It's okay that they kind of flash. It's okay that
They're flighty.
they're flighty, right? So we say that,
Yeah.
right? So we make these allowances. Where I struggle with that is, okay, sure. And the other thing, the other side of that is like, okay, that doesn't mean that you get to treat me however you want to treat me.
Absolutely.
It doesn't mean that you're not held accountable for your actions. It's kind of like a thought I heard on like mental illness is like, it's not your fault that you may be mentally ill, but it is your responsibility.
Oh yeah.
Right. And so one of the things, because of recovery and AA, it's like where I come around with this is like, okay, I am not, because I'm in 12 step, going to kind of give you this like blank check that you can cash in whenever
We're
you.
Virgos. I'm gonna give you a rope.
Yeah. Like we're
I'm gonna give you
not.
a rope and I'll let you hang yourself.
Well, can I
okay?
tell you why? Because
Tell us why.
I think part of this is like I blame Netflix because I've been watching all of these cult documentaries.
Okay.
And I'm like, why didn't anyone ask themselves, like, wait a minute, this isn't cool. Like, we shouldn't be sleeping with the leader, or the leader shouldn't be stealing our money. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, oh, that could never happen to me. And I'm like, oh, no. I think there have certainly been times where I've let someone walk all over me because
No,
I'm like,
absolutely.
we were in recovery and right.
Well, I think too, like, I don't know, just it reminds me of what you were talking about before with like the boundaries.
Mhm.
And I think for me, the bigger thing with the boundaries isn't about like, okay, this is what I'll let this person get away with, or I won't, or whatever. It's like, what am I going to do when they do that thing? Right.
Yeah.
And like, in some situations, it means removing myself from the situation and like, I'm just not going to put myself there, or I get to leave. Like, I don't know. I think that's important. And I think also like letting friendships go if they need to go, which is hard.
Yeah.
I feel like because everything that we deal with can be teachable, can and sometimes I'm not at that place as much as I think I am to say shut it down. I believe that like if I love people, I tolerate a lot more, and
Of course.
I tolerate a lot more, and sometimes it takes a while before, and it was a topic I think last night, being in so much pain, like the price of admission.
Mm.
Like I'm not going to make a change until I'm completely uncomfortable, and I had talked about wanting to kind of. I talk about
yeah, sir.
I talk about wanting to wanting to be a little more proactive with it.
Yeah. So we're laughing because
I know, exactly.
Leslie has a Union shirt on and someone just commented on it.
Absolutely.
What was that person's name?
I missed it.
It was Di Sade. Go SI. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
We are pro union here at the CCC.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I love how this is unfolding because it is. I mean, it's lovely that we're at a place now where we have these relationships with people, but they take work.
Oh, 100%.
Oh,
Well, one
my
of the
God.
things I was thinking of is like, well, I think a lot of gay people have dealt with like having like a homophobic person in the family, right? And it's like, and that can get complicated, especially if it's like a sibling or a relative that you love, right? Like I remember years ago, my I almost said her name. My aunt
My auntie Tia.
Yeah. Okay, that's like low-key racist.
Second sounded like I said something about like
my Tia.
I said something about your bandana in the background and the Into the Heights. He said that's low key racist. I'm all,
Well, because aren't they Puerto Rican in the Into the Heights?
yeah, that sounded
Yeah.
about right.
Okay, so my aunt, very many years ago, I was in a relationship, and my family, it was undergrad, so years ago, they were coming to visit me, and I had a boyfriend at the time, and my boyfriend was going to be there, and my aunt says, and I quote, Tony, my family calls me Tony. Tony, can you put your lifestyle on hold while we're visiting?
Oh,
And I'm like, my lifestyle?
Oh.
That is so obnoxious. And I was like, you don't have to come.
Yeah, you don't
Like, you don't have to travel across. Number one, you're going to be a guest in my home. Number two, like, you don't have to come to my graduation. And then she fired back, oh, it's that easy to get rid of me. And I'm like, girl, how did you just make this about you? Do you know what I mean? It's so, and that's not even like, we've had other conversations where she voted for Bush, and the reason why she voted for Bush was because of same-sex marriage, and she's like, man, woman. And I'm like, that's complicated because I also very much care about her and I love her, you know? And, you know, she has since changed her views, or now her new thing is because I approached her about this. I said, you know, I want to talk to you about, like, you know, your stances on like gay people and stuff like that. And her new go-to is only God can judge you. I can't judge you.
Oh my God.
That one. No.
Basically,
Oh my
only God can
God.
judge you. Behind that is still that judgment.
Well,
Oh,
behind that is,
I'd rather you just keep
it's
your mouth
worth
shut.
being
Yeah,
judged,
exactly.
right? Like,
Right.
when someone said that to me, it was a long story. It was a nun.
You were a nun?
No, I wasn't a nun. I was having a conversation with a nun.
Uh-huh.
And that was her thing, like, oh, only God can judge. And so I had this whole thing. I was like, oh, well, only God can judge, like, this person who married, like, this man who married this woman, and they waited, waited to have sex until they were married, like, went through this whole thing. And I was like, oh, only God can judge that. I'm like, do you hear how ridiculous that sounds?
Right.
And she was like, oh, this is one of my happier moments. Of,
Well, I like it when you deal with somebody who's open. I feel like, you know, maybe it is my responsibility. I'm pretty fortunate. I think aside from my father, who I had to come out to him 3 times. Maybe because no. Honestly, it's like I made a decision when my mom passed away that of the people in my life, I was going to be the patient with him for that part and understanding, because initially I thought, oh great, because he's in recovery, but he found recovery through Christ our Lord and Savior. And so he's very, I don't want to say he's very religious, but he's very religious. You know, he's one of those that says, have you ever thought about how your lifestyle in relation to the word? And I know exactly what.
Yeah. And I also want to be clear, just speaking for myself, it's not like I don't appreciate Christianity or appreciate Christians. My family is very Christian. I come from a town called Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. It doesn't get.
Were you in like a manger?
Swaddled like a manger.
You said you were. No, I love it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yes. Thank you. That was really good. You guys are getting better behind the board over there.
They're laughing.
Yeah.
They're
laughing at their own joke. Yeah. You know, there are a lot of, and I feel it's very important for me to say that because there are gay Christians out there, and you know, my family is very Christian, and I mean, like, I still go to Catholic church.
Yeah.
You know, and
and
there are certain like principles that I still hold that I learned like as when I was growing up in like Catholic like catechism and stuff like that. And I say all of that because, you know, recently I was watching this thing on
Netflix.
No, it wasn't Netflix. No, I've been on YouTube a lot.
Okay.
And I haven't started like my real job until I almost said the name, but in August. Anyway, I've been watching these clips, and what I was watching were these interviews with priests and like religious leaders, and they were being asked, "Do you feel like Christianity is under attack?" And they all said no. Yeah. Christianity is not under attack. And then there was another guy. I think I brought him up a couple weeks ago. There was this religious leader. And he said he was talking about how there is no God or Christ in politics. Like there is like that there's been this weird conflating in that it was this actually very beautiful message where I was like, oh, I think everyone can benefit from hearing this message, which was that God, especially how I conceive of God, is beyond and above all of those things.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how we got there.
Well, I think
family homophobia.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy. I think it's unfortunate. The louder voices sometimes, the ones who happen to be on TV, in the media, or whatever, usually are spouting their kind of dogma that's far off. Like whenever I think about Christianity and my relationship to it, I think about a poem that Maya Angelou wrote. Like,
Maya.
What it means to be a Christian, and I'm paraphrasing a little, but she talks about, when I say I'm a Christian, it's not that I'm perfect or this or that. I'm saying that I'm in pain and that I need help. And a Christian, I think, being Christian is about being humble. It's about acknowledging that you aren't perfect and you're looking for an answer. And I think most people who go there look for answers. The problem is, I think sometimes, and that you find it. It's kind of like with recovery. In the 12 steps, you find it, and you are so passionate about it. You know how it becomes overzealous about it. I'm on fire, but then you see somebody over there doing something a little different, and then it causes you to question: is this the right way? And so, unfortunately, some of those extremists go to the total extreme. I don't know any other way, so I can't possibly invite even a thought that there might be another way to think about things.
Right.
And so, this is how I'm able to have a little bit of compassion, but not so much compassion that I will sit at a table and listen to somebody, or sit in a pew and have a priest or a reverend tell me that I'm not lovable because of who I am.
You know.
Yeah, and like the thing is like that's not like there's plenty of places to go where you don't hear that.
Absolutely.
You know? And like some places where I feel like you can hear, I mean, like where I go, it's not like there's still some ways in which it's not as expressly open and accepting, but it's also like way more, you know, like they put in the bulletin, like we had a special pride mass, you know, and I was like a one woman pride parade, like in that church wearing all of my rainbow everything. It was really fun.
That's really cute.
Yeah. And so I don't know.
No,
I think
I was just thinking about, excuse me, I burped. You know, well, my problem is that I'll drink, just for people listening, because I feel like it seems like I'm a lot gassier than I really am. What ends up happening is that I'll drink like sparkly water beforehand. And can I tell you, let's just as an aside. So here's my problem. So Benji,
problem?
There's so many problems, but Benji has got me so paranoid about microplastics. So I won't drink any like bottled water because it's all in plastic. And so I'll drink like things that are in glass, and or here they have things in cans and it's all fizzy stuff. So when I'll drink the water before coming on, and then I'm just really burpy.
So next season, we're going to have a special section where we cut away to talk about Anthony's gas.
So what I want to circle back to, not even circle back because I haven't even brought it up, but one of the things that I appreciate, there's no circling, right? So what I was thinking of,
it's a meandering,
it was
windy.
So what I wanted to get to is one of the things I love that I've heard in the rooms before is, do you want to be happy or do you want to be right? Right. And one of my favorite conflict I ever had with a friend was,
you have a favorite conflict?
I have a favorite conflict. You have to hear it out. So okay, I'll keep it short. Louis just looked at his watch. My favorite conflict with my friend, like she would, I guess I was doing something that upset her.
It's the final conflict.
And I don't remember what it was. And you're fucking obnoxious. So she said to me, Anthony, she said, Anthony, please stop defending yourself. Just please stop. Just hear me. Like, just hear what I'm telling you, right? And she said, what I got from that conversation was, it doesn't matter if I agree or understand. It's that I have someone that I love and I care about, and they're telling me they're in distress and they're uncomfortable. So in that moment, thanks to recovery, because drinking drugged me, would not have been able to do this. In that moment, I was like, oh, never mind me. I have a friend who's upset, right? And that becomes the priority, right? And I have to ask myself, what do I want from this communication? Do I want to sustain this friendship, or is it more important for me to like defend myself and be right? Because I don't think, sometimes I don't think that we have to understand or completely be on board with what someone thinks or is going through in order to still show up for them. But I think that's tricky, right? It's like, what relationships are worth that level of like care and
Absolutely.
and sensitivity?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that reminds me of a conflict that I had where like it was a similar kind of thing where like me being on the other side was just like, I need to say this because like my history in relationships, friendships especially, not saying anything and then just like letting it fester, and then it either explodes or it comes out my eyes, usually because I'm gonna cry if I'm mad, and then I just want to like run away.
I thought you were gonna say comes out your ass.
It does not come out my ass. My eyeballs.
It's like there's something
or
on
it
your
comes
seat.
out my ass.
Oh my God, it's like I
That's
love
really
that.
sweet.
Well, no, I love this. I love that. Like, I feel like the way that I can be successful in any of those relationships is the work that I'm doing on myself. Knowing what my bottom line is, what I'm willing to put up with, how I've been showing up, and so I think that's where the work is.
Can I also say that?
Yes.
Can I also say that I have found the most kind of fulfilling relationships to be the relationships that I can grow in or that I can change.
Absolutely.
Like that's one of the things that fucked me up about my family, is that my family wouldn't allow me to grow because I felt like they constantly saw me the way like when I was a kid, and things, I feel like things didn't start to change until maybe a few years ago. We took, like, my family goes on international trips every year, once every year as a family. And so it was like a few years ago, we were out and I was making a decision. I was like, oh, you guys can go do this thing. I'm going to go take care of myself. And my grandmother was there, and my grandmother was trying to be like very heavy handed about what I was doing. And my family was like, you need to stop. Like, he's not, like, I'm about to be 40. You know what I mean? Like, he's not, you need to not do that. And I felt like it was the first time in my family, like I was seen as an adult.
Yeah.
Like it's someone who was like autonomous. I don't know what the hell is going
That's pretty
on
amazing.
behind the table over there.
He's so good.
Oh, Ben, that's my partner. So, okay, Benji.
Don't blame me.
I guess.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's like, come on. Well, that's what.
All right.
No.
Oh, you want to do that?
No.
You want to tell secrets?
Oh boy.
I'm kidding. Go ahead. What were
That's
you saying?
Anthony's MO. It's like, I'm all, whenever somebody's not there, is like at the conference.
What's my MO?
At the conference with you all, everything that in order to steer the conversation. Oh, it's Lewis's fault.
No, that was during the conference. Whenever I got nervous, I'd be like, "Oh fuck, Lewis," because you weren't there. So I find, there was one other thing I wanted to say, and we're so talking about kind of we were talking about the media and like the messaging in the media. And I was just thinking about this recently. So we know that like Trump announced his VP, right? JD Vance. And what I thought was really funny is that there are all these recordings of his VP like shitting all over him.
Absolutely.
And then now
that's how it is with a lot of it.
Well, I know. I mean, yeah. I mean, and let's be real. Like, we've heard other Republicans flip flop. Like, Hillary Clinton years ago, she was like talking about how marriage was between a man and a woman, and then years later, like all the gays are right. So we've heard people flip flop before. Exactly. But the point that I'm trying to drive home here is that
the same afternoon.
Yeah,
that's what tends to happen with them. It's like one moment it's this.
Yeah, it's whatever's advantageous, politically advantageous. And so I was just thinking about like, that's so confusing, right? Like, it's so confused. Like what? It's like you can't personally, and maybe this is just because I'm getting older, but I start to think to myself, like, what am I listening to? What can I take seriously? Like,
exactly.
And I hate to be that person to think, because I hear a lot of people like, oh, they're all corrupt, but like, that's how I feel. I'm like, oh, they're all corrupt.
but it's hard
because they
not.
are.
Yeah.
It's hard not to. It's hard not to think that. Like, I mean, it's like yeah. It's just.
Yeah, I know.
I'm hesitant to kind of dive any deeper into that pool.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think the reason why it comes up for me is like friends and family. You know, my
Yeah.
family voted for Trump because they're gun owners.
You know what?
You know?
That's so crazy. It's like, I'm not. This is a side.
Yeah.
Like this mad thought that thinking just because somebody wants some sort of reform around that we don't believe that guns, that we want to take guns, or we don't want guns. You know, that's crazy. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of my family like have illegal guns. But,
Yeah.
do we have a comment?
My family has illegal guns.
We have a comment.
Your family has guns that have the like serial number.
It's going to be
scratched off.
it's going to be a hard
They're
search
just
for
too
someone who
old to be
did not
legal.
fully deny him the candidacy.
Oh, right. Oh, that's a really good point.
It's like
Right.
it's like when people are talking about boycott this because they support this and that or whatever. There's always going to be something attached to something that if you're not careful,
Yeah. You know what else I was thinking of?
Uh-huh.
Because I feel like that might be the first time I've ever said something kind of like politically charged in that way.
I love it.
And at the same time, like if there are like sober, I imagine that there are sober people. Well, actually, I have another story, but maybe we don't have time for that. But
Look at podcasts.
yeah, but podcast is good. But that, you know, there are like there are conservative people in recovery, right?
Absolutely.
And there probably are sober people, queer sober people that support Trump. And there is a part of me that is thinking like, I don't want to alienate you, right? And in fact, I would welcome you to the conversation because maybe I'm wrong about something.
Especially if you're not talking about like lasers from outer space and
yeah, or
nonsense
maybe
like
you
that.
believe in lasers, and I'd love to hear where those thoughts are coming from. But there were, you know, very many years ago,
Okay.
there was some drama on Facebook because there was a gay Latino sober person who was supporting Trump online. Do you remember that?
I remember that.
Yeah, that was
I
years ago.
unfollowed him because I didn't want to deal with any of it.
Well, and I also was like, I was struggling with that because I was like, bro, you don't believe anything you're saying. This is 100% about the attention that you're getting online.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, clout chaser. So there was that comment. Oh, Vegas. Let me just tell you very, very quick. Did you guys have something?
No.
Okay. So when I was in Vegas, I went to a sober meeting in Vegas and I had bought this shirt from H&M and it said Dreamer on it. Like just Dreamer.
Oh.
Okay. You know where I'm going?
I do.
So I went to Vegas. I was in Vegas and I had that shirt on. It wasn't like because of the Dream Act. I just had it because I was like Dreamer or whatever. It was a cheap shirt. So I go to this meeting. It was a Vegas meeting. It was like the Camel House or something like that. I am going to put them on blast. I think it was like the Camel House or some shit like that. And I had the Dreamer shirt. And would you believe not one of them talked to me?
Damn.
Like not one of them talked to
Isn't
me.
that
Like
kind of how we are with
like
if we see a red hat? I don't
yeah.
know.
And they all sat like far away from me.
But
Oh.
you saying that
I would-
about us with the red hat, like
Uh-huh.
that's me. For me, like if someone's in the room at a meeting, like I want to welcome a newcomer no matter what, right? Like I
Mhm.
really do.
Yeah.
Go back to you, Anthony.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking to myself, like, I know what this is about, you know, and
And it's bullshit.
it is bullshit. I'm like,
absolutely.
I like to think, well, you know, the model behind the podcast is that there are no outside issues. And I also think that, and we've talked about this before, if there's some issue or something that has the ability to impact your recovery, like that is not an outside issue.
No, not at all.
And sometimes, and I there was a meeting actually at the Big Sunday meeting years ago. There was someone who was like, I don't agree politically with a lot of people in this room, and I wish that people would stop bringing it up during their shares, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, bro, you are just as capable of talking about whatever it is that you want to talk about.
Exactly.
And okay, and another thing,
there was
there is this person that I know about who's in the rooms in San Francisco who says very like anti-trans things.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, absolutely.
Right. So it's not like that stuff doesn't exist. And I feel like we still manage to coexist. Although I've seen people, if they know that person's going to speak at a meeting, I've seen people not go.
Oh yeah,
to
no,
that- to the meeting.
honestly, that's the way I do. I have said, okay, I'm good. I don't need this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm
Tricky.
just waiting for that.
Tricky
I'm
stuff.
waiting,
Tricky stuff.
Waiting for the
Why
banner.
did like
to pop
there
up.
was more stuff, but I'll say it later.
Waiting for the banner to pop up.
Where's the banner? Okay.
The Castro Country Club is a safe and sober community center for all people and a refuge for the LGBTQ recovery community. Somebody was asleep.
Who?
The person
Oh,
who's-
behind the
yeah.
behind the
Jordan. That would be Jordan.
Jordan. All right.
Am I reading
No,
that?
you.
No, it's me. We provide programs and services that help people change their life. Hey, I'm picking you up on the mic. We provide programs and services that help people change their lives by supporting personal growth.
Yes, and our vision is to reduce the suffering of addiction by connecting people to community, opportunity, and support.
You can find more information, including all the ways to contact us at www.castrocountryclub.org/podcast.
And tune in every Wednesday at 8 p.m.-ish Pacific Standard Time when we go live on our Castro Country Club Facebook and YouTube channels.
Find us wherever you listen to podcasts.
Oh,